Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me down there in Tequila, Georgia, my good friend, fellow University of North Georgia alumni and host of Georgia Voice of College Football, Matt Green is here. Matt, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It is good to be back with you this week. And I'm not the gloating type. I'm not going to come on here, and have all these Tennessee fans who listen to you want to turn off your show immediately. So obviously, this is something we do every year. Georgia Tennessee is our biggest week, but man, what a game! It was just incredible. It's Georgia Tennessee. It's a shame we're not going to have that game every year. That's like one of the best ones we've had in probably a decade. But yeah, man, it was what a game.
Yeah, a lot of 2022 Tennessee Alabama elements to that game, I think, that we'll dive into. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. It had a lot of twists and turns, a lot of things that I thought even throughout, like in the third quarter, where it felt like the game was moving in a very different direction than where it ultimately ended up. And you look at the snap counts, you look at all these different things that played a factor and how different every quarter was for both teams. And obviously how it ended is not what any Tennessee fan had hoped. But yeah, I mean, it was I just imagine if you were not a Tennessee Georgia fan and just a college football fan, that was just one of those, you don't need reminders often, but it is one of those reminders where you're like, oh, right, this is why we love this sport, because of a game like that. Like, we had no, if you have no skin in the game, whatever, you still were locked in. I was looking at the Twitter timelines and all that, and just everybody talking about how much of a banger this game is. And I'm over here like sweating and losing my voice and everything else. But yeah, I mean, it was an all-timer. Obviously, it did not end up going Tennessee's way at the very end, but it was really interesting reading all the different takeaways from different folks. And I would say, by and large, the vast majority of the fallout here has been respect for Tennessee. So even with the loss, you don't want to be in the moral victory game, but it is nice to know that, or I shouldn't say nice to know, I do think they're better than the 15th, not moving up in the AP poll. I get why you don't get moved.
I would say not moving down is the respect, though.
Right. I would still move them up. I think Tennessee showed they're better than one of the 15 teams in the country. Because I think, is Iowa State still ahead of them and they were playing with their food this Saturday? I want to say Iowa State still ahead of Tennessee. And we're like,
maybe
Tennessee's blasting Iowa State with this version of this offense. But that is neither here nor there, Matt Green. It was an all-timer. Unfortunately, Tennessee did not fall on the right side of this one at the very end. This game just had it all. Like, there was just so many different things. Like, obviously, we're going to dive into all of it, but now that it's a little over 24 hours removed from it, what are you still thinking about from Tennessee, Georgia, and Georgia pulling off the W, going 9 straight against the Volunteers?
I mean, that's probably what you're thinking about the most, because I think that's what's been talked about a lot, is like the fact that we're not getting this game. I've seen a lot of people talk about like not getting this game every year, and it would have been tough to lose after that whole streak, to be tough to sitting on a loss now when you take that little break. So for Georgia to tie Tennessee's record of 9 straight is just massive. And that's the crazy part. Like, when they showed the head-to-head, what is it? I think it's now 23-2 all time or something. Like, Georgia wasn't winning the all-time rivalry with Tennessee when Kirby Smart took the job. So, I mean, it was right there, tied, basically. So it's obviously, things have changed a lot in the last decade. But I think the biggest thing I took away was probably just the biggest way my prediction was wrong, that it was, 2023, Jalen Wright takes the first play of the game to the house. That place is absolutely just exploding. Neyland Stadium, loudest stadium in college football and everything. If Georgia gets punched in the mouth like that at the jump, does this team have the character, the experience at quarterback to just bounce back? And that was essentially what happened. Like, it wasn't the first play of the game, but you had the long play to Chris Brazzell to go up 14-7. Just easy drives. What was the first drive? 7 plays, 8 plays, 75 yards. It was just like 8 yards at a time, 10 yards, 15 yards. It was just so easy that whole first quarter to go
6
down.
plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
That's the opening drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, just so easy. And then so you went down 21-7 and just time and time again, Gunner Stockton, I feel like, was just under an insane amount of pressure. Like it felt like Georgia had the ball 4 or 5 times in the game. It was like they have to get a touchdown on this drive to whatever the scenario was, to stay in the game, to take the lead, to tie. Like just so many times, there was just so many pressure packed drives in Gunner Stockton. I think that's just got to be the biggest takeaway, that you got to feel a lot different about Georgia seeing Gunner Stockton respond in that environment in his first SEC start of his career.
Yeah, if you told me Tennessee scored touchdowns in their first 3 drives, I would have, at home, even against Georgia, I still would have, been like, I feel pretty good about this game. Obviously, it's just such a weird game for Tennessee because they score touchdowns in their first 3 drives, and they punt twice, interception, punt, interception, 2 TDs in a row, field goal, missed field goal at regulation, field goal in overtime. I mean, it was just when they were hot, Georgia had no answers, and then when they got cold for a while. From the second quarter was just not good for Tennessee in this game, and they kind of took their foot off the gas, I think. And then the third quarter, it felt like the Tennessee, the momentum in that stadium was just not there. And to their credit, I mean, Tennessee responded in a way with those back-to-back touchdowns and the field goal to go up 8. It was one of those deals after the fumble and everything else. The crowd was obviously extremely, I mean, after the Gunner Stockton fumble, I thought Tennessee was winning that game. And yeah. I think a lot of fans, there's 2 big things that they look at in this game that I think they second guess Heupel, and Heupel talked about it where he was like, yeah, I think he was asked about it now, knowing how it went out, everything unfolded. Would you go and do the drive after, call the drive after the Gunner Stockton fumble differently? Because Tennessee just did 3 straight runs up the middle, 3 and out, and kick a field goal to go up 8 when you really had Georgia on their heels. You had back-to-back touchdowns in that spot, and obviously Gunner, and you had a lot of success through the air. So it's just to not try to put it up at least once at that point was just really bizarre. And then obviously
was it the second quarter where there was the Heupel, it was a 4th and 2?
Yes.
Where Kirby called the timeout, and then they decided to actually punt it instead of going for it.
Yes, I didn't have a problem with that though, because the field position part of it, I did not have a problem with that, with him punting there. I do have a problem with George. I don't know what you thought in the moment, but I thought it was and it almost ended up backfiring majorly for Georgia when they decided on that drive where they went 96 yards and Tennessee holds them inside the 5. Kirby kicking a field goal there was wild to me. I never thought they would do that. And I just thought it took the air out of that room. And I wondered what you thought in the moment when they kicked the field goal after going 96 yards.
Right before in the second quarter?
Yes.
Like before halftime? I personally, we actually talked about this last night, and I definitely agree with it. Again, obviously, Georgia wins the game, so you can just say whatever you want. It worked out. But I definitely agreed with kicking in that situation because Georgia was getting the ball to start the third quarter. I would like to take a poll. So what did that, was that over 2 minutes? Was that under 2 minutes when that happened? I can't remember exactly.
It was 40. Under 2 minutes, a minute 42.
Okay. So you went that long and 88 yards on that drive. I feel like you just went that far. I think you needed some sort of points. And to that point, I don't know that I would trust just 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. I think if you took a poll of every Tennessee fan and every Georgia fan at halftime of that game, every Georgia fan felt really good about 21-17. And I would imagine every Tennessee fan was like, oh God, like we got off to such a good start. They didn't really play that well in the first quarter, whatever, play that well. We dominated the first quarter, however you want to say it. And we're only up 4 and they're going to get the ball. They go down and score. They're winning all of a sudden when we feel like we should be dominating this game right now. So I think the fact that you got points, and then because I would say there was 2 moments in this game where I thought the game was over. So to answer your question, I definitely thought it was the right move for Kirby. It's also my decision going for it just is such like a vibes based thing. And at that moment, I don't know, it was like Gunner got kind of flushed out on that third down and he was able to pick up something and get down to the 2, but it just didn't feel like Georgia was just moving the ball. Like sometimes you're just moving them. It's like, they're not going to stop us from getting 2 yards. And I didn't necessarily feel like Georgia's offense was moving like that at the moment. But there was 2 times where I thought this game was over. The first one was 6 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third quarter. So Georgia goes on, it felt like what people talk about the Kirby death march or whatever, right? The 14 play drive, 13 runs, 75 yards, 7 minutes and 41 seconds to start the third quarter. A game that Tennessee was just dominating. All of a sudden, we're halfway through the third quarter and Georgia's winning 24-21. And then that following drive, they go 3 and out. It's Raylan Wilson just rocks. I always want to call him Jarrett Guarantano. I don't. It's killing me. Joey Aguilar. Just rocks Aguilar on second down, sails it on third down. It felt like Georgia had all of the momentum at that point in the game. And then Tennessee would have beat. That was the 4th consecutive drive that Tennessee had been held scoreless on. And then, Georgia, I think it's the following drive is when the KJ Bolden interception. So then that's such as another stop. And then, so at that point, mid third quarter, it felt like it was over to me. And then we'll talk about, other things that happened. Tennessee obviously bounced back. And then it was like you said, the second time was 8:21 left in the fourth quarter. That was after the Gunner Stockton forced fumble, after the sack fumble. It just felt like at that point, Tennessee just had all the momentum. And, both teams, Georgia in the third quarter, getting field goals instead of touchdowns, allowed Tennessee to stay in it. And the same thing, Tennessee getting a field goal on that drive late instead of a touchdown is what allowed Georgia to stay in it.
Yeah, that one really hurt, and it hurt the moment because some of these are hindsight's 2020, but that one was just one where it was just baffling because Heupel had been aggressive this whole game, and that's kind of his ethos, and he just was not aggressive there. And you would think 8 historically with this defense would be enough, but that was part of. There were so many different things that were pretty bonkers in terms of just stats. There was so much even. You look at 70 plus yard drives, 5 for Georgia, 5 for Tennessee. They only 1 3 and out for Tennessee, and that was the most important one in the game, potentially. 2 3 and outs for Georgia. Ultimately, these 2 offenses were really good. Touchdown rate percentage for Tennessee was actually better than Georgia, 38%, 36%. So Tennessee, when they got hot, Georgia had no answers. And when they were cold, these drives were ending quickly. They just could not. Tennessee had 10 penalties again in this game. Some of them were very dumb, especially that last one at the very end of the game that pushed Tennessee back 5 yards in the false start and that whole mess that we'll get to here in a bit. But, Joey Aguilar was unbelievable in the first quarter. Like, that was one of those where you just kind of look at what they did. I think he was 14 or 14, 213 yards, 224 yards, 10.2 yards per attempt. It was pretty crazy when you look at what Tennessee was doing through the air in this game. 371 passing yards total. He was 24 of 36, 67% completion percentage. Average per completion, 15.5 for Georgia, and Gunner Stockton was 13.2. 4 touchdowns, passing touchdowns. Tennessee had not thrown a passing touchdown since 2021 on Georgia before this game. So that was huge.
Is that right?
Yeah, they hadn't thrown a passing touchdown on Georgia since 2021 inside Neyland Stadium. So you look at all the different stats and what Tennessee did. There is no question that Tennessee's got a quarterback this year. And we're going to talk about SEC quarterbacks and where things are right now, because there's a lot of projections where it's like, hey, if you ask a Texas fan right now, would you rather have Arch Manning or Joey Aguilar? It's like, how many would say Arch Manning? And probably
not 100%. That's for sure.
And Joey Aguilar, I don't know what you saw, but Gunner Stockton we'll talk about too, but Joey Aguilar, one of the things I said going in all week, because I think there were a lot of Tennessee fans, and on my show I was talking about this, where I was like, Tennessee to feel good, I need 30 plus. And people are like, I think there was a lot of people who thought you could win a low scoring 20-17 game. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I just, part of me thinks in this game that the best version of Tennessee's offense is you're not going to go 4 times, have 4 drives or 3 drives where you have 10 to 12 plays, 75 yards on Kirby's defense. As many problems as they had in the back end with KJ Bolden and company, where Chris Brazzell just torching them, and then the awesome offensive pass interference that you're never going to call. No one ever calls that. You're not going to call it. The defensive back made a bad play on the ball. Chris Brazzell took advantage, and that's it. I mean, Daniel Harris had another bad one where it's like, no, you just like that was.
He definitely had the little shoulder push off, but it was probably
no one's calling that ever. That's never getting called.
Yeah,
and
it's exactly what you can get away with.
100%. And it's also because if he was in good position, if he made a better play on the ball, then Brazzell doesn't come down. Like, I don't know. Brazzell deserves all the credit in the world. And I mean, that's a guy I've been completely wrong about. I did not see this coming for Chris Brazzell. He was good the first 2 weeks, but he was unbelievable in this game. He wasn't Jalen Hyatt 2022, but he was up there, man. I mean, it's the second best. It was close, man. And he was awesome in this game. Braylon Staley was awesome in this game. I mean, the 3 receivers for Tennessee as a whole, the big 3 with Matthews, Staley, and Brazzell were torching Georgia. But then they went in those lulls in the second and third quarter and were not able to put Georgia away. But again, Georgia's, it's Georgia, man. And I don't give, you want to clean that up. But at the same time, this team deserves so much respect for fighting back in the third quarter, because I thought the Kirby death march was coming. I thought the vibes were terrible. Like, you could feel it from the stadium where people were like, this is bad. Like, I don't know if we're going to score again, from that second quarter to early third quarter feelings. And then it shifted, the next Brazzell touchdown, and then the Gunner fumble and everything else. You're like, oh my gosh, like, Tennessee's actually going to stay in this. Tennessee actually should win this game. And it all changed very quickly, because that was one of the more stunning get up off the mat moments from Heupel and Tennessee, I think, in all of Heupel's tenure. Like, that was so impressive, because we've seen that movie 4 times in a row. Everyone in the stadium felt that. Everyone felt that, like, oh, here it goes. I've seen this movie before. And to Tennessee's credit, they were like, nope, we're going to make plays. The Jordan Ross and Joshua Josephs were crushing Georgia's right tackles were awful in this football game, like awful. Yeah. And Tennessee was just destroying them. Caleb Herring had a great game, but yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things. See, I can just rant about all the different thoughts.
Did you have any thoughts on the broadcast in the third quarter with how Herbstreit and Fowler were talking about just the Georgia-Tennessee kind of rivalry at all?
No, I gotta be careful with this, but I mean, Kirby struggled in this game. They were asking about the timeouts. Do you remember? I sent a text to the group chat, and I don't have it in front of me, but he was really trying to figure out, like, why did they call timeout? And it's like, what do you mean? Why would Tennessee call the timeout there? Yeah, obviously it was Georgia. And I forgot the moment where, what was the moment in the game where they were wondering aloud in the broadcast, and Kirk brought it up twice, where he was like, what? Why are they calling timeout? Or was there a timeout? Why did the clock stop or something?
What you were talking about is that was at the end of the second quarter, when they didn't know that Tennessee called timeout. Because there was like 50 seconds or like a minute 40 or whatever it was.
Right.
But no, I felt like if I was a Tennessee fan, the way they were talking about the third quarter was just like, yeah, it's good. It's great to get off to fast starts and everything, but eventually you got to step in the ring with the heavyweight and just kind of like, I don't know, just they're really hyping up Georgia, how they've kind of physically dominated them and everything. And I felt like if I was a Tennessee fan, I would just be like, all right, get off Georgia's nuts for a second, guys. I don't know. I could feel just kind of people how people always felt the broadcasters favored Alabama and stuff like that. But going back to the start of what you were saying about Joey Aguilar, just how ridiculous is it that Tennessee legitimately got an upgrade at quarterback? Like, this is supposed to be Nico Iamaleava, and I don't know what he would have been as a second year as a starter in Heupel's system, but oh my, like, you think we're going to get into UCLA and stuff later, but like, things are just so bad. Like, UCLA is so bad and Nico is not good. The idea that your quarterback just bounced on you post spring practice and you somehow get an upgrade at that position, like Aguilar, I mean, to this point, we'll get into our SEC QB rankings as well, but it's like he looks like a top half of the conference quarterback at the very least. We know we'll see like how the season shakes out, but like, I mean, Georgia's probably one of the better defenses he plays all season. We still don't know how good Georgia's defense is, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we're looking up and Joey Aguilar is second or third team all SEC or something, like with how he's playing right now. Like maybe that's putting it too far to this point. He did throw 2 interceptions, but I don't know. I thought Aguilar looked really good, and it's just wild how like people were going to be understanding if Heupel, like, you know, that we had a bad down year, kind of a gap year, quarterback kind of screwed us, like whatever. Like, no, like this team might be better than what people thought coming into the season. Even if they had Nico.
He averaged 10 yards per attempt in this game against Georgia. It wasn't like just, I mean, it was shot after shot. Like Tennessee, and this is one of the things, it was so weird because Tennessee was not able to run the ball well. And that was something that I thought the rotation was still really weird, where Peyton Lewis I love, but he has just not started off well. And I think he's kind of like, Star Thomas is, I think, your best back through 3 weeks. And I think they kind of leaned on him more in the second half. But Deshaun Bishop, I loved Deshaun Bishop too, but he had some drops. And Star is just more versatile. You know, Star out of the backfield, Star at the middle. He's kind of filling that Trevor Etienne role that Georgia had last year. But I do think Star Thomas is a really good player, older player too. You know, obviously his forced stop here and all that. But Tennessee was not able to really run on Georgia in this one. This is all through the air. Like this one would have been ugly, I think, if Nico was here, based on what we saw last year, because Joey takes those shots. Like Joey gave his guys a chance. Joey was pushing the ball consistently down the field.
You're saying Georgia would have blown him out if he
like I based on what, I mean, who knows? But I mean, Nico this year, it did not seem like it was obvious that Nico was going to make the kind of leap that Joey has been. And look, Joey's not perfect, but I had waited all week where I was like, we're doing a lot. Let's see how Joey plays in a big spot. He's checked the first 2 boxes, but let's see what he does at home in a big spot. And I mean, he torched this Georgia secondary for a lot of this game. And he was faced with some pressure. Tennessee's offensive line, I thought, did pretty well as a whole. But Tennessee struggled to run the football. I mean, that spot where they had that 3 and out, they're only 3 and out in the game. They couldn't push around Georgia in that spot and had to settle for a field goal. And that ended up being a big point in the game. Because I don't know if Georgia gets up off the mat. And you obviously have the catch of the game with London Humphreys from Gunner. But if you're down potentially instead of 8 in that spot, but it's a 2 touchdown game. Like, I don't know what Georgia looks like. And I think it's significantly less likely Georgia wins that game. I mean, the most impressive part was that 2-point conversion call. I mean, that was just a perfect play call, and Tennessee didn't have an answer for that one. But I mean, you got to tip your cap to London Humphreys on that catch, because it was a perfect ball placement from Gunner. Perfect catch. Because I mean, Ty Redmond got torched all day. Like, that was a great Bobo call, because I know Georgia fans were getting frustrated with Bobo, but I mean, him going after Ty Redmond over and over again. And this is something that we're going to talk about in the Tennessee Vol Sports guys, is like Tennessee played Ty Redmond, a true freshman, as good as he's been out of the first 2 weeks, 94 snaps in this game. 94. And he got picked on a bunch. It's going to help him in the long run. But Boo Carter, who, again, that's just been a whole mess. And like, what are we doing still? Because he didn't get an opportunity to return any punts. And that was more the coverage here. But I mean, 95 snaps.
He tried to return the one. And, got hit and fumbled.
But that's just, he does that every couple. But you got to live with that. When you have a playmaker who's going to try to make a play, like, sometimes things like that could happen. But he ultimately got jumped on and it was fine. But he played 28 snaps in this game. 28. Like, you just had to move Boo to star and slide Julie McMurray down and give Ty Redmond some relief and some help, man. Like, he was the second worst graded Tennessee player on defense in this game. And I don't blame the kid. Like, he was in a tough spot against Georgia. I'm looking at PFF's grade right now for him. I mean, it was not good. Like I said, second worst in the team. I mean, he was targeted 7 times, 6 receptions, 113 yards, TD. He had the pick, but it was just that Hail Mary by Puglisi at the end of the half that doesn't really count. That was just, they threw that up there, and he was the one who came down with it. But ultimately, like, Ty Redmond got torched, and I don't blame the kid. Like, and it was smart by Bobo and them to go after him in this game, and they did it over and over again. I'll also say Zachariah Branch is a player. Like, Georgia's not had a player like Zachariah Branch in I don't know how long. I mean, who was the last guy you were this excited about at receiver in the slot?
Well, let me I don't know if you can name one that's been as good as him, but let me start from the top, because I think my number one takeaway, it's taken a while to get to my number one takeaway, I guess, but is put some damn respect on Mike Bobo's name, because Mike Bobo was absolutely balling in this game. Like Georgia, the things that Georgia was doing in this game, not for one, just I mean, just the way they were moving the ball, like when under the pressure of each time, like Tennessee hit Georgia in the mouth, they had to respond. But like just the different kind of things they were dialing up. People love to hate on the screen game. Georgia was on 11 screen plays. Georgia had 134 yards in this game, like absolutely destroying the screen game. And one of those plays, isn't actually a screen, but I'm including it because one of those plays is the fake screen to London Humphreys that picked up 31 yards. That's set up by averaging 10 yards every time you're getting a screen pass. Like it's so. The things Georgia was doing were just so creative. You had the little play that Tennessee blew up immediately, and you had this little tight end little slip screen to Oscar Delp that picked up like 18 yards. It was just Zachariah Branch. To answer your question, Zachariah Branch is essentially a Mecole Hardman, Isaiah McKenzie hybrid. Like
more upside.
Isaiah McKenzie had the wiggle, didn't have that straight line speed. He was also like tiny, like 5'6", 5'7" or something. Mecole Hardman had insane straight line speed, so explosive, didn't have the wiggle. I feel like Zachariah Branch has everything. Like this dude is just a baller. Like I had made some kind of Kadarius Toney comps kind of coming into the year, and maybe if he has a 2020 Kadarius Toney year, I'll be definitely satisfied. But maybe he's more of a Percy Harvin. I don't know. I don't know exactly what his upside is. And I don't even want to say that because for those who know how I feel about Percy Harvin, one of the most underrated players in the history of college football. But Zachariah Branch is just a freak for sure for Georgia out wide. And you know how Georgia, the receivers are always able to block. So that just I'm obsessed with that little that fake screen that where London Humphreys leaks out, because that's just I think I called it like second quarter, like with how we were hitting him in the screen game. Like at some point, Lawson Lucky's gonna leak out there, and it was actually Humphrey that they ran it with. So it's just perfectly set up. And then also, like you're talking about that 2-point play, Georgia's run the same damn 2-point conversion play for like 20 years for Mike Bobo, and it was all to set up yesterday to run it back. And instead of everyone rolling to the right side, one guy cuts back left, and you hit Zachariah Branch wide open. And I will say the 2-point play that we've been running forever, it seems to work every time. I'm not sure how, but it always seems to work. The quarterback just rolls right. Everyone's rolling. Everyone's going right. And one guy sits down. You got options of who to go to. It seems to always work. But I know we ran it when Monken was the OC as well. But yeah, I think Mike Bobo's performance in this game, I was just so impressed with, and not just in the passing game, like that, the first play of overtime, you come out with 3 tight ends for the first time the entire game, and you come up with this little creative run scheme where you get Micah Morris one-on-one with a corner, and Zachariah and Nate Frazier takes it all the way inside the 5. Just everything Mike Bobo was doing was working for Georgia. But Gunner Stockton, my brother asked me this question earlier today, like my confidence in Gunner Stockton, 1 to 10, my confidence on Georgia to win a national championship with Gunner Stockton as a quarterback, I would say coming into Saturday was probably a 3. And I would say leaving Saturday is about an 8. Like, I'm not saying Gunner Stockton's the best quarterback in the country, but if the performance he had in his first career start on the road in Neyland Stadium, I don't know that there's ever going to be more adversity that Gunner Stockton faces in a start than he did in his very first one on the road. So it was such an impressive performance to me. I said my biggest concern since the Notre Dame game a year ago was if we're going to be good with Gunner Stockton as the quarterback, the quarterback run game has to be a part of the equation. And Stockton, 38 yards, a touchdown, like it was clearly part of the equation, and I think that's just massive. If that would be the green line stat of the week. Like if you just told me, you woke me up on Friday morning and said, hey, Gunner Stockton's going to be 23 of 31 for 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It's like, okay, are we throwing it too much? There's always that stat about Jake Fromm, right? When he complete like 30 attempts, Georgia never won or something like that. It's like, okay, are we having to try to getting a shootout or something. It's like, no, you have 198 yards on the ground also. It's like, oh, Georgia won this thing by 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like, if you told me Gunner Stockton did that and Georgia ran the ball the way they did, I would have assumed like this was a blowout for Georgia. So for the defense to be the one that was getting torched in this game, for many times the defense got a lot of stops as well, but they got torched a lot in this game as well. So I think the fact that the offense was able to win the game, it just changes the confidence on just kind of what the upside of this team is. Not that expectations weren't to win the national championship when the season started. I don't know how realistic they were until you knew what Gunner Stockton was made of. Now I think if you're a Georgia fan, you're like, okay, it's a little more realistic now that this team could be the best team in the country. And also, I might say this is the best regular season win of Kirby Smart's entire career. If I'm just breaking it down, like, I thought that 4th and 6 to London Humphreys to win this game was probably the most clutch Georgia football moment since I don't know. I mean, it's hard to pick one from that Ohio State game with Stetson. He was just dealing in so much pressure situations. But like, I go back to 2002, like Michael Johnson against Auburn, like the 4th and I think it was either 4th and 10. David Green hits Michael Johnson in the back of the end zone to beat Auburn and to clinch the SEC East. Like, I'm just thinking of other kind of iconic plays. Like, I don't know, like Isaiah, Jacob Eason to Isaiah McKenzie, that was a big one at Missouri on like a 4th down. Like, in terms of just, if you don't convert this, you lose. And to just make a perfect throw in Neyland Stadium, just a perfect throw, a perfect catch. It's one of the more iconic like games I can think of just like, I don't know, having like some Tua 2nd and 26 type of things of just like, this game was over, like Georgia gets a sack in that situation, then Alabama rips their heart out. It's like, it just had to just suck the energy out of Neyland Stadium to think, and then you had to go for 2 after that. And you dialed up a perfect 2-point play. It's just the pressure of just having to convert this or the team loses, and just, it's one of the biggest plays I think of the Kirby Smart era, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's all true. I do kind of wonder, just getting back to the kind of fallout here. Does it feel like this could be a rematch in the SEC title game based on what you saw? I mean, obviously Georgia is a favorite to go back to the SEC title game this year, but did you see enough that it wouldn't surprise you if Tennessee makes it in as well, based on where the rest of the SEC is right now?
That's interesting. I haven't even considered that, to be honest. I really wouldn't be surprised. Like, we've talked about Tennessee's schedule being like not the toughest schedule in the SEC, and was it literally ranked last, like the easiest schedule?
No, they weren't last, but they were in the bottom like 2 or 3. I forgot who
like
was last. Oh,
seeing
Mizzou has an easier schedule at
Mizzou.
least.
Okay. Yeah. And so just conference schedule wise, obviously yes. Vanderbilt, I'm not going to say
Vanderbilt's going to be tougher, man.
I'm not going to say that's not a good at all, but Florida looks worse. So if there's a year to beat Florida in Gainesville, this has got to be it, other than the fact that like, well, they gotta get one. Everyone gets one at home, right? And maybe that's the one, but we still don't know what Alabama's made of. They looked better against Wisconsin. They looked like they were playing a different sport that Wisconsin was playing. But so with the last 2 weeks, it's like whatever we can learn from Alabama. We'll learn a lot from Alabama, Georgia. But I mean, that's the biggest obstacles on the schedule. Oh, also Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma looks a lot better than a lot of people are.
They are, but I mean, they play every SEC game they play this year is against a ranked team.
But I'm just saying, against teams that Tennessee has to beat.
Oklahoma's gonna be a dogfight in Neyland.
Yeah, I don't know. The SEC feels a little crazy right now. Maybe I don't even want to say Tennessee's schedule is easy, because you say it's easy and then Florida figures some things out, beats some people, and maybe they look better. But with Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas didn't look too bad on Saturday. Like,
at Mississippi State in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like we know how Heupel has struggled on the road at times. So I wouldn't be shocked because I thought Tennessee looked pretty good on Saturday, but I hadn't really considered a Georgia Tennessee SEC championship rematch potential.
I would
I
not
wouldn't
bet
hate
on
it.
it, but I also think it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think Tennessee, I will still say Tennessee's got one of the weirder parts about where I'm at with this group now is I think if you're someone who, if you're a Tennessee fan, you look at this and you're like, we belong and we're so close to Georgia now. That's awesome. Like, it's awesome we're this close to Georgia. And I understand that. And if you're like, hey, we got ourselves a quarterback, yes, Joey Aguilar is a dude, man. Joey Aguilar is going to be a good college quarterback for the rest of this year. I'm locked in on Joey Aguilar is a great fit for this Heupel offense. The receivers, if they stay healthy, are really good. This is the best 3-man receiver unit you've had since 22. That much is obvious. The offensive line, I think, is the best since 22. I think the running game is worse than we probably maybe 21. I think this is the worst running game Tennessee's had since 21. Doesn't mean it's going to be the end all be all, but Tennessee did not win the rushing battle in this game. And Tennessee does not win games very often under Heupel where they don't win the rushing battle. Like, they are a run first team to set up the pass and everything else. And it was not easy on Saturday once again. So we'll have to monitor that as the season goes on. They got to get healthy on defense, man. Like, that's the big part of all of this is Tennessee was without their starting corners in this game. Dramad and Ricky. Dramad hurt a lot more. Like, the stuff with Ty, you just hate it for the kid because I'm like, I still like Ty going forward, but the true freshman got picked on and he got crushed in this game. Like, he got obliterated in this football game, and it wasn't his fault. It's against maybe the best team in college football this year. We'll see how it all unfolds, but yeah, I mean, that was just something that happened there, and you could have really used Dramad in that spot. And the interior of the defensive line, I think, was another big one. When, I mean, obviously Georgia grinding it in with Nate Frazier and then Josh McCray down the stretch. I mean, you had to slide Dominic Bailey in for a lot of this game on defensive tackle because you were without your two of your top three defensive tackles. Like, Jackson Moy did not play. David Hobbs obviously out. So that hurt. That hurt Tennessee. And then, like I said, I'll never understand not sliding Boo into the starting spot at star and sliding McMurray down at the very least to help Ty Redmond and give him some breathers. Let Julian McMurray, who was a top 100 PFF corner last year, as your third guy behind Ricky and Dramad. And that's part of the reason I was like, Ricky's a good player, but you wouldn't have missed him as much if you still had Dramad, just because I think Colton Hood's better than Ricky Gibson. I think Colton Hood's been just a huge player for Tennessee, and Georgia didn't go at him at all. Like, Colton Hood maybe got targeted like twice in this game that stood out. They did not go and throw his way at all. I think that's part of the reason you didn't see Noah Thomas or Colby Young really do anything in this football game for Georgia, is they just did not go at Colton Hood at all. So there's a lot of respect there on the Tennessee side of things. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's
I thought Colby Young definitely made some plays. I mean,
what did he finish with?
Colby Young was Georgia's leading receiver in this game, 4 for 73. He was
how
the
did he
one.
get 73?
I mean, I think that first play of the game was Colby Young, because that was one of my bigger takeaways was Georgia's receivers. I was going to ask you kind of what you thought of Georgia's receivers.
Okay, I'm looking at it, by the way, in terms of, so that wasn't on Colby. No, Colton Hood wasn't the target on any of those. So Colton Hood gave up. He was targeted 4 times, 1 reception for 5 yards.
Okay, yeah. I felt like that was one of my takeaways from this game was like Georgia's receivers. We've talked all offseason about like how different Georgia's receivers are than a year ago. And I hate how it's also a narrative of like Georgia for several years. It's like, no, this was 1 year that Georgia had bad receivers. Before that, call Brock Bowers what you want. He was a receiver, essentially. We had sick playmakers, but 2024 we didn't. And I thought this game was just night and day with how different Georgia's receiving group is this year. Like, you saw the games last year. Tennessee was one of them where Bobo, first play of the game, dials up a deep shot. Arian Smith, what could be a 40-50 yard gain, is a drop, and it's 2nd and 10. Same thing in the Alabama game. It could have been, that one could have been a 60-70 yard touchdown, 80 yard touchdown, wherever they were on the field, and it's a drop, and it's 2nd and 10. This one, very first play of the game, you hit Colby Young on a deep shot, 45 yards, and it's like, okay, Gunner can go deep. We know that now. Okay, like that's nice to get out of the way in the first play of the game. But just Zachariah Branch like caught some bullets on some 4th down, 3rd down conversions, like just making catches. The London Humphrey catch, like that was not an easy catch. He did have the back shoulder one on a 3rd down early in the game that he dropped, but like just the consistency that this team dropped balls a year ago. And on Saturday, you had to make some plays to win that game. Receivers had to make some tough catches, and they actually made some tough catches. And I think Carson Beck could have looked a lot better in 2024 if he would have had these guys catching balls a year ago.
Do you think Heupel iced his own kicker at the end?
Iced him how?
So this was something in the moment that like I was losing my mind because, okay, so here's what I'll just not understand about that entire final sequence for Tennessee that led, because I don't blame any of that on Max Gilbert. Max Gilbert.
You don't blame him for missing the field goal?
No, because it was a terrible spot. Like what they put him in. Okay, so Tennessee in that spot, and also credit to Max, who had not missed a kick since Kentucky before that one, and then he comes in back in overtime and makes a big kick from almost the same spot. So big. I'm a big Max Gilbert guy, and I'm not blaming that on Max at all. I look at what happened before that, which was Tennessee had no idea what to do down the stretch with time. Like that was one of those that was just losing my mind because okay, are you going to run one more play? Like they could have just kicked the field goal and like they can throw it up with Puglisi with a second. Even if you don't have exactly 0-0-0, you're where you wanted to be and the ball was centered. Like, yeah, it was third down, whatever. You could have run one more play. But then you send your guys out there and it looked like it was back and forth and Max is kind of pacing around the sideline. And you're like, I just didn't have a great feeling about it. I'm like, either send Max in and like go ahead and do this and like let's not think about it, like not have all this time to dwell on it. But then he runs another play. But when he goes to run another play, Tennessee gets a false start. And then they go back 5 yards so that it goes from a 30-something to a 41, 42 yard, whatever it was. And you also move the ball. So it's not in the perfect spot. And if you're going to do that anyway, you still have 7 seconds, run another stinking play and center the ball. Like move it, run another play up the middle or give it to Starr to run a couple seconds off. Like because the logic doesn't make any sense to me. If you were going to run another play, like anyway, just run another play. Why would you then not? Because you're worried about something happening because you got a false start there and you're another false start. Like, what are we doing?
I think that is the logic. You're just like, oh wow,
he should have just kicked it to begin with. He shouldn't have sent his guys out for another play anyway with 7 seconds. Like it made no sense why they didn't immediately just kick. But then they ran that. Then there's there is the false start. So Max is over there sitting thinking about this kick for like 10 minutes. Like it was terrible. I hated the spot they put Max Gilbert in. It was so stupid. It's going to drive me nuts for a while.
I'm not sure who said it, so it's not my original thought, but I heard people crediting Kirby Smart with his timeout usage and kind of like he kind of iced him for like a few minutes instead of just having the one you get in the formation, coming on the field, get the one timeout. Like he took a timeout with like 30 seconds left, like took another timeout with like 12 seconds left. That like I'm not really sure why those timeouts were taken, to be honest. Like with just in that point in the game, there was no real like Georgia getting the ball back or anything. So it kind of felt like let me take a timeout so that they have to run one more play to get it down. And then like you were lucky enough that they did want to run that one more play and they got a 5-yard penalty. Cause I don't know. I feel like the inside 40 yards and outside 40 yards feels like I don't know the numbers on kicks inside 40 or outside 40, but it feels like there's some sort of drop off. Like anything inside 40 feels like a chip shot. So to go from 37 to 42, just I don't know. It's only 5 yards. The guy clearly can hit that. He basically did hit that field goal in the first overtime. And man,
he made the 2 field goals before. Max literally had not missed a field goal since Kentucky. Like it was just I don't put that on Max. Like that was an insane like 10 minutes of just. It just will always blow my mind because there's always me a big what if.
That you can put it on Heupel though, because I think you want to.
You can on the first play. Heupel not just sending the kicking team out with 7 seconds left on third down. You can because ultimately you ended up just kicking it anyway. Like he should have just sent him out there.
But you wanted to get it at 0-0s and you wanted to get it.
Who cares? What is Puglisi? You saw him. He arm punted it like 40 yards. Like who cares?
It's college football, man. Like you were obviously wanted to get it in the middle of the field too.
You were already there though. You got no. They were in a good spot if you had just run it out. But because you had the penalty and everything else, it wasn't in the same spot. And it goes to 40 plus. Like no, there's no.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. No. And then there was a part of me that. I still kind of wonder, and I said the moment, like it's easier for me to stay on the outside, but when Tennessee got held to a field goal opportunity and overtime, I was like, I have a terrible fit. Like I would just go for it. I would treat this as 4-down territory because this defense has given up 500 yards and has not been able to get a stop. They're just completely gassed. Like they're just injury riddled. They're tired. I don't have a great feeling about giving Georgia the ball back, only needing a touchdown to win. I kind of wanted that to be 4-down territory, and like you just go down with the
4th
ship.
and 9. But would you approach it differently than they did?
I would have approached the whole that's what I'm saying. Not in 4th and 9, but I would have gone in and be like, hey, we're treating this as 4-down territory.
Especially how you got to that 4th down too.
Yes.
Like you had the drop that almost got picked, and then you had the 3rd down where he's under pressure, and that one almost got picked too. It's like, okay, let's kick this thing. 4th and 9. Like I think there's no decision really to make there. But yeah, I mean, you force someone to a field goal in the first overtime, you feel a lot better about how the game's gonna end. But yeah, man, it was a surprising game. That is not a game. I would say first quarter, I definitely had the feeling. And you're a big first quarter guy, you know. You always have been, and it's funny how Tennessee kind of matches your identity. You're a big first quarter guy, and I'm like, hey, this is 60 minutes. You know, we got a long game. But even in the first quarter, I was like, this does not feel like a game that Georgia's going to win. So, find a way to win. Maybe we're concerned about Georgia's defense, but in general, I kind of feel like Georgia's defense did a lot of good things in this game. Obviously, the one-on-one balls down the field was a massive failure, but I feel like you're on the road. I kind of give more credit to Tennessee, trusting that they're going to have one of the 4 or 5 best offenses in the SEC this year. Maybe that's not true, and Georgia has a middle of the road defense in the SEC. I tend to think Georgia's going to have one of the better defenses in the conference. So the fact that you were able to win a game like this, kudos to Kirby Smart, Gunner Stockton, and company.
All right, Matt Green. Well, how do we do in our pick'em this week?
In the pick'em, we're giving the people some winners. We are giving the people some winners, sir. I bet you felt like I had a good week. Definitely had a better week than that guy over there. And in one facet, you did, but in another, you didn't. Money line this week, sir. You went 8-3, giving the people winners. I went 7-4. So on the season, I got a 23-11, 22-12. Got a 1-game lead on you on the money line. Against the spread, another good week for you, sir. You went 7-4. Your boy over here had a 9-2 against the spread for the second week in a row. So got a 4-game lead on you now against the spread. Zeus, his home dog of the week, West Virginia. Now Zeus is 2-1 on the season. But I would say like last week, I just need to start. I need to start trusting my vibes. I've been good against the spread. I need to start trusting myself. I didn't have the guts like Dabo. I didn't bring my own guts this weekend. Mississippi State and Arizona State still killing me from a week ago. So I didn't have the guts. You did. And that's how I felt about Georgia Tech Clemson, man. I felt good about Tech, but I didn't have the guts to pick them to win. I only took them against the spread. But yeah, it was Georgia Tech. What a win for the Jackets this week.
No, it's a big time win. It's a great appetizer for the Tennessee Georgia game. I will say, yeah, I mean, Clemson 1-2 now. CFP chances not great, and they just had. It's one of those things where the I feel differently about Notre Dame than I do Clemson. I think Notre Dame's still like a top 15 team in the country. Like they lost to a really good A&M team here at home, and it was a barn burner back and forth. And they were also right there to beat Miami on the road too. Like their 2 openers are against 2 top 15 teams, maybe even top 10 teams. We'll see how it unfolds.
Top 10 in the newest poll.
Yeah, so I just don't think those bad losses. Like I think a lot of people were upset that Notre Dame's still ranked and everything at 0-2, and I'm like, all right, like it's Notre Dame isn't a different. Like I understand
24th also.
Yeah, it's like they didn't play. Like they're not playing Arkansas State here in week 2. Like it's just a little bit different. So kudos to them for scheduling hard out of the gate, but now they might be screwed because I don't know where that, even if they run the gauntlet and win 10 straight, I don't know if Notre Dame's going to be able to have that signature win to get in, other than maybe USC, depending on what USC
they need
does.
USC to be like a top 10 team or something.
But even still, 10 straight's asking a lot, man. Like we'll see if Notre Dame can pull it off, but I just still feel a lot better about Notre Dame than I do Clemson. I think Clemson has real problems, and I don't think they're going like 6-6 or something, but yeah, great win for Georgia Tech. But man, if you're a Clemson fan, I mean, how awful do you feel today? Because this whole offseason has been about, like, we have the most NFL draft picks. This is, we're the last non-Big Ten SEC school to win a national title. We've got a starter who's been with our program for 97 years. We have all this momentum. We hire Tom Allen as our new DC. We have Garrett Riley back as OC. Everything makes sense.
Dabo's taking guys out of the portal now.
Yeah, like, everything feels great. And the season's over here in week 3. Like, I don't know what, I mean, Clemson, man, I just think they had the worst week of anybody, because the vibes could not be lower if I was a Clemson guy after this weekend.
In fairness, the season isn't over.
I think it's over in terms of the offense is cooked. I think this offense has
loss.
Real problems.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying. I don't know. Even when I picked my playoff, it's like I couldn't not pick Clemson, because I'm like looking at all the teams and everything. But I mean, we said it all year that, like, I feel like people are forgetting that, like, this team lost to all the good teams they played a year ago.
Yeah,
and I think Tech is good. So doesn't that mean Tech's going to beat them? But yeah, it just looks so bad. Next year's NFL draft is going to be absolutely miserable if you're a Clemson fan, and it's just going to be 4 picks in the top 25, and it's like, how did this team not win more games all the time? Like, someone,
yes,
what Theo Riddick or Mel Kiper, someone's going to make that comment during
Lewis
the NFL
Riddick.
draft. Who's Theo Riddick? Is a running
Theo
back
Riddick.
for the Lions? I don't know.
I think
Theo
he was
Riddick,
a running back for the Lions a long time ago. He's third down back.
Theo Riddick.
Yeah.
That's funny. Lewis Riddick. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's someone's gonna make that comment. Like, with all the talent, I would have thought this team would have been better this last season. But yeah, I don't know what it is. They don't look very good right now. It doesn't look fluky. Like, this is 3 weeks in a row now. They had the Troy game that also happened in between.
That's what I'm saying. It's also the Troy part. Like, they had needed help just to escape Troy, and I just think you're not who. Like, what does Josh Pate say? You're not who your record says you are. I think you are when it comes to Clemson. I think they are a 1-2 team, and it actually does match up. I think Notre Dame's not a 0-2 team. Like, I think Notre Dame's still a top 15-ish team in the country. Like, Notre Dame's really good. I just think they've played 2 potential powerhouses here out of the gate and scheduled hard out of the gate. Now, they needed to win one of the 2 to be okay for the playoff. Now they're not, but it is what it is. We'll see if they win 10 straight. But Matt Green, I mean, the Clemson part of it too is, like, their schedule is still pretty manageable. Like, Syracuse at home, at North Carolina, at BC, SMU at home, Duke at home, Florida State at home. The last one, I mean, they've 2 of their last 3 games are on the road, at Louisville and at South Carolina. Those looked worse before the year. Louisville, not off to the best start. I don't think they have as much juice as we thought they were going to have. In South Carolina, I mean, they just got crushed by Vanderbilt at home. Who knows what happens with Beamer ball, man? Like, the Beamer rumors at Virginia Tech. Are we still going to have Shane Beamer at South Carolina by that point? Who knows? So I don't know. Clemson, man, that'd be gross if Clemson backdoored their way into 10-2 and got an at-large bid to the CFP if they won.
Well, it might not be at large. They could just get an automatic bid for winning the ACC.
I don't think they're going to get in the ACC title. If Tech and Miami take care of business and some of these other schools in front of them, I think they're going to get left out.
That's fair. Florida State too.
Florida State too. That's what I'm saying. I think Clemson on the outside looking in for that. And if they don't get it in if they don't make the ACC title game, I don't think they're getting in. So I think they're now on the outside looking in, and they need some help at top of the ACC right now. And I don't know if they're going to get it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's reason to it's logical to think that Clemson's playoff chances are done. In terms of Notre Dame, you said it's tough to win 10 straight. They did win 13 straight a year ago after starting 1-1 and losing to Northern Illinois. So
true,
they have done it before. But I don't know necessarily where the good wins are, as far as getting in the playoff. But I mean, does it matter? Notre Dame's 10-2. If Notre Dame's 10-2,
also would be impressive.
Playoff.
Everyone would love the narrative. Notre Dame winning 10 straight. Like, that is something you could see them all being like, they're rounding in the form at the right time.
One of these teams finds a way to get ranked or something. But they also do go at Arkansas in 2 weeks, and don't sleep on the Razorbacks at all. But yeah, I mean, this Notre Dame A&M game was a lot of fun. Like, Marcel Reed, like, just one of the bigger statistic anomalies you'll ever see in a football game. It's like, I think he had a good game. Like, I was watching, I felt like he was making plays, and you look at the stats, you're like, did he have a good game? I don't know. But 17 of 37 and then throwing for 360 yards is just kind of a wild stat line. But Marcel Reed, I don't know if I don't know if I said what he could be Jalen Hurts. I think when we were making our predictions last week. That's not a very Jalen Hurts-esque game going 17 of 37. Jalen Hurts was having those games at Alabama where he went 12 of 15 and then had like 50, 60 yards rushing or something. So Marcel Reed making the plays, like throwing the ball a lot and then find a way to win this game. Like it was an insane game, man. It was a lot of fun in that night game. I also thought CJ Carr looked better in this game than he did against Miami.
I think CJ Carr is a good player. I think he's going to be good for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And when we don't, I think if you're a Notre Dame fan, you feel good because you look around the country, it's like so many programs just don't feel good about their quarterback right now. Like you came into the year feeling, I'm like, you're one of the few programs that have a young quarterback that you're like, oh, I think we got something here. I think we got a long-term answer. And a lot of programs thought they had that answered, and they do not.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Matt Green, are we sure Miami is not one of like the 4 or 5 best teams in the country?
We are definitely not sure of this. And some of us on this podcast are not even surprised, sir. I tried to get everyone prepared. And as a Georgia fan, man, we're feeling a lot better the day that now that Gunner Stockton actually looks pretty good. But we would be real rattled if we lost to Tennessee and Gunner Stockton didn't look good, and we're watching Carson Beck and Miami be a top 5 team. But so I think it's just, it's just mutually beneficial. Everyone's doing fine. Everything is fine. But yeah, I mean, I said it all year, like, I don't know they're going to have the number 1 offense in the country like they did a year ago with Cam Ward, but I would not be surprised at all if you told me that Carson Beck, I guess I would be a little surprised. But if you told me Carson Beck literally did the exact same thing Cam Ward did a year ago, and he transfers to Miami and he has whatever same stats, that he's a Heisman finalist and is the number 1 pick of the draft, it's like all of that on its surface, they go 10-2 or whatever it was. All of that on its surface, I would just not have been surprised about. So I think Carson Beck is a really good player. These Miami playmakers, I know that's one of the things they were worried about coming into this year. Because their receivers weren't that good. I think they lost like 4 or 5 receivers from a year ago. But their receivers look really good. Like Miami looks explosive. That's one game I wasn't surprised about because it was like, yeah, South Florida's good. They're a solid team, but it's like they snuck up on and beat someone a week ago. They're not sneaking up on anybody this week. Like Miami took care of business. So yeah, I'm not surprised that Cristobal's got this team as a top 5 team, but that's what it is. When it's Cristobal, it seems like, I don't know, you sometimes lose to someone you shouldn't lose to late in the year. So I don't know. They got the Yellow Jackets on their schedule this year. I hope not.
Good question.
For their sake.
I'm pulling it up right now.
If they did, that'd probably be like the game of the year in the ACC at this point.
So we'll learn a lot about Miami over
weeks.
the next 3 weeks. I mean, they actually have a sneaky tough schedule here from in on out, Matt Green, because they got Florida this weekend. They should win that game. At Florida State, you thought, huh?
That's game day for some reason.
That's so dumb. That can't be the best game on Saturday, right?
I thought the same thing when I saw it. I don't know. Maybe you're just like, well, the sky hasn't completely fallen for Florida yet. Let's go ahead and get in there before everything does.
I kind of want to pull that up real quick. Let's pull that up.
I mean, just looking at ranked matchups, you got Texas Tech, Utah, Auburn, Oklahoma. Has Oklahoma Oklahoma's already been game day.
Yeah, do Texas Tech, Utah. Utah's a great story. You will not have a reason to go back there later. Yeah, do that one. Texas Tech's off to a good start.
Florida Miami's a nice little rivalry though that we don't get all the time also. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that was a little weird when I saw the schedule this week. So Illinois, Indiana is also this week.
Indiana should not be given any attention ever for the next 6 years. No, I would take them off television for what they've done with their schedule. They shouldn't be ranked. Like, I would keep Illinois or Indiana off. Like, I think they're a good coach program. I've spoken positively. I like Fernando Mendoza a lot, but what they have done to their schedule and this nonsense that we're going to have to deal with year over year for the next couple of years is just ridiculous. Like, their schedule is ridiculous. It's not the Indiana players' fault, but it's a joke. And I won't do it. I hope Illinois wins by like 38. I have to root against. They're a villain for me. Like, they made themselves a villain for no reason. I don't like that I hate Indiana as much as I do. Because I think they were a legitimately good team last year, But this nonsense and the whole schedule, like the SEC stuff and
Yeah.
everything else, is just it's too much. I have
Yeah,
to. I've
I'm
turned
with you
on him.
there. I'm with you there. I wonder if South Carolina doesn't get blown out by Vanderbilt. If maybe the Battle of Columbia could have been game day.
That's not a lot of juice. That just has SEC
seven.
Nation written all over it.
That's
That
a
is an
7
SEC
o'clock.
Nation destination, and you know.
Yeah, but Missouri's ranked now, so it would have been what, like number 10 South Carolina, number 23 Missouri, and when the road team is the lower ranked team, the home team is the lower ranked team too. It's got a little more juice, you know. But yeah, that's probably fair. I don't know, where is SEC Nation this week? You're probably all over that. That's got to be it. Honestly, I think that's like one of the only SEC games. Auburn, Oklahoma also.
That's probably where it is then.
That's a bigger game, but game day has already been to Oklahoma this year.
Virginia Tech, UCLA, both fire their coaches after 0-3 starts. Dream hire for both, in your opinion, Matt Green, and which is the better job in 2025?
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's interesting that Deshaun Foster, did he get 2 full years? Or he didn't even get, this is his second year, right?
Yeah, this is his second year. Because he was he didn't.
I just think that's whack, man. I think if firing a guy 15 games into his tenure, I know UCLA looks really bad, but it's just like, I don't know. I think that's garbage to fire anybody. Like Billy Napier is now 20-21 in year 4 in Gainesville, and like just got the great vote of confidence tweet a week ago. So obviously the writing's on the wall for him, but I don't know. I think it's just terrible to fire a guy this early into year 2. But I mean, I don't know. I think UCLA is the better job, especially being in the Big Ten. Like, as weird as that is, it's a much more secure just job program that's going to be getting a bunch of money because they're in one of the 2 major conferences. So I feel like UCLA is still the better job than Virginia Tech. At Virginia Tech, I mean, until proven otherwise, they're a one coach program essentially. Like, they had one coach that was capable of winning there, and no one else has ever been able to do it. So until proven otherwise, that's all they ever are. So I think UCLA has a tradition. They have some history of being competitive in football. Obviously, it's been a long time since they were like a true contender, but it still feels like a better job, just in terms of like more money, more resources. You know, I guess you could argue its recruiting footprint is better. You know, if Virginia Tech is able to recruit that area, there's obviously a ton of talent coming out of that area. But you know, Southern California, UCLA, that should be advantage UCLA. But you know, who knows how many of those elite players either of those schools can get from those areas.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's Virginia Tech, just because the path to an ACC title and a CFP appearance is a lot more feasible to me at Virginia Tech. I think UCLA is so far behind the Big Ten. It's kind of like where Northwestern is that it's a tough job, man. Friend of the pod, JP Acosta, I think tweeted out on Saturday, like, Northwestern should run the option. And I've been saying that for years on this very program. Hire Jeff Monken. He's from Illinois. Go get Jeff Monken. Let him run your program. Like, you've got to stop this nonsense that, I mean, they got drubbed again by Oregon on Saturday. It's just, I don't know. What
shade there.
Yeah, what is Northwestern? What are you doing? And then UCLA part of it, though. I mean, they're just so behind, man. Like, and that's the whole thing with the Nico conversation.
Where's Virginia Tech, though?
Virginia Tech, I think, is somewhere in the middle of the ACC. Like, they need to get the research, but if you hire the right guy, I think there is potential. I mean, there is buy-in. Like, the fan base is packing. There's nobody who goes to these UCLA games. Like, I just think that's going to take a lot of work to revitalize that fan base. It's not a quick fix. Like, I don't think UCLA is a quick fix. And I think Chip Kelly just like walked out. He was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to go be an offensive coordinator somewhere else. And I don't know. I mean, I think you kind of wonder about the AD situation there. I don't know. I think UCLA is a worse job for me, but I could see some problems with Virginia Tech. I mean, the dream hire is Shane Beamer. Like, I wonder if you're Shane, it's got to be a tough call, because obviously you have to pull your dad, following your dad, and all that kind of stuff. But it's also like, if he thinks he can get the NIL where it needs to be, and he can win enough, like, if he can talk himself into being the next great ACC coach and having a path to the playoff and winning a lot more games than he can ultimately at South Carolina with the big dog he's up against year over year. Because it's like South Carolina's never win the SEC. He can he could talk himself into winning the ACC, and I would believe him. Like, I think Shane Beamer can get Virginia Tech back. I think it's a home run hire if Virginia Tech can flip.
But you don't have to win the conference anymore. Like, they were 1 or 2 seeds away from getting in the playoff last year.
I mean, but it's hard. It's still South Carolina. They haven't done it yet. And it's just like, until there's a proof of concept, I mean, I don't know.
Would you leave Virginia Tech, South Carolina for Virginia Tech if you were Shane Beamer?
I really consider it. I think Beamer is a unique case because of the ties, because of the history there. I do think it just depends. Now, if I'm Alex Golesh, do I take it? I don't know. You got some good NIL stuff at South Florida. It seems like they have a big recruiting budget. You see that graphic where South Florida's in like top 20 in recruiting budget for this past cycle in football. So he's got a good thing going, but it's also like, I would just be very scared of any of these G5 jobs where I'm like, I'm one bad portal destruction away from losing all my juice from the previous year. So I don't know. I would be a little bit careful if I'm Golesh, because I think Golesh can coach, man. And could he get Virginia Tech to buy in there? I don't know. And I would go Virginia Tech. I think there's more of an appetite for it there. Obviously, you don't have the Big Ten money that UCLA does, but I think there's other issues at UCLA that I think Virginia Tech would not surprise me if Beamer or Alex Golesh took that job, that Virginia Tech's a 8 or 9 win team sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I don't know how many like West Coast powerhouses can exist at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, with Oregon just being what they are, like, and Washington played for a national title a couple years ago. Like, USC isn't even where they want to be right now. Like, I'd put all of those easily ahead of UCLA. Like, even Cal or something right now is ahead of UCLA. So, honestly, Oregon State, Washington State feel like they've been more relevant than UCLA in recent years. So I don't know. They did have a couple 8-9 win seasons with Chip Kelly, a couple 10 win seasons with Jim Mora. So it's just, I don't know. UCLA is not necessarily a bottom feeder. So it feels like the right guy. Obviously, things are different now in the Big Ten, but it feels like the right guy could do something at UCLA. I don't know who that guy is. I don't have a name though.
I don't either. I mean, D'Anton Lynn, DC right now. He was the DC at UCLA, left for USC. He's done a really good job there. Son of Anthony Lynn.
Pull an Elko.
Who?
Pull a Mike Elko. You know, you were the DC there. You went off somewhere, and then you come back as the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that'd be a solid hire. I don't know. I don't know what UCLA is going to do. I think I'll make a prediction though. I think Virginia Tech makes a bigger splash hire than UCLA does.
Oh, okay, interesting. I wonder who takes that Virginia Tech job. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that job means anymore.
Yeah. If Beamer took it, would you say that was smart?
How's Mike Vick doing at Norfolk State?
They're 1-2, and he just started his coaching career. I saw that thrown out. I'm like, you can't do that there.
Right.
You can't do it to Mike. You Mike, also, you should not do that. Like that, you don't want to, because the thing with Mike, you just saw it with Deshaun Foster. That's almost the same thing. He was a awesome UCLA running back. He's a Southern California legend. He lost in the state title game to Carson Palmer and back in the day. Like, he's a California football legend. And now he's gonna have a bad taste in his mouth because he went 5-10 at his alma mater and didn't even get 2 years.
I mean, he should have a bad taste. Like, that's
That's what I'm saying. If you're Mike Vick and you love Virginia Tech, do you really want to walk into that? And if it bombs early and you get fired early or something, then you don't love your alma mater. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a great spot.
Was Deshaun Foster a head coach anywhere before Virginia Tech? Was that his first head coaching job of any kind?
Yeah, I mean, he was a running backs coach everywhere because he was running backs coach under Mora, then under Chip Kelly. He was running back coach under Kingsbury at Texas Tech for a little bit.
No, I definitely wasn't serious with the Mike Vick stuff.
But I've seen that on the boards, and I'm wild, like, though. It's a wild card. I would not do that if I was Michael. Like, I wouldn't do it.
If you were Michael. I got
what?
You.
I mean, if I was Michael,
it's funny how you called him Michael. I don't know. Like, I
don't feel like I know him like that to call him Mike.
Yeah, that's why I call him Vic.
Yeah, I don't know. People sometimes it's weird how I don't know. I go first full name. I don't know him like that. If I ever did know him like that, I would say Mike, maybe. He was cool.
Yeah, he was one of those interchangeable. Michael Vick, Mike Vick. I feel like I
always said Michael Vick because I'm going full name. I'm going professional. I'm going. I just think it's more polite. Yeah, I don't know him like that.
Vic was a legend in my my Falcons fandom days.
Like, would you go to Charles Barkley and be like, Chuck, I'm like, I don't know him like that. He's not Chuck to me. He's
What would you?
Charles.
I mean, no, those are definitely interchangeable. We can call him Chuck.
No, I don't know him like that. Chuck is a nickname. You don't do the
Mr.
nickname.
Barkley.
Would you do Shaq or Shaquille?
That's a good question. I think he's known from the world as Shaq, so I think you can go either way. Shaq, you call him Shaquille?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. That is,
I think
I've
it's a
never
respectful
thought about
thing.
it.
I would go to it. I don't know. That's how I would do it. Final thing here, Matt Green.
If I go to the TNT studios, I need to think about.
You really do, man. You gotta think about this stuff.
If I need to think about what I would call them.
100%. Like, you're not going to Ronald Acuna and being like, Ronnie. No, you're saying Ronald.
I might.
All right.
What is it? El Bestia? Is that what he calls himself?
Yeah, I don't know. This season's been pretty just what an ending. Final thing here, Matt Green. SEC quarterback rank. I thought this would be fun to talk about here as we wrap up, because most programs are not happy about their SEC quarterbacks right now. I mean, who are we sure is good, Matt Green, at quarterback in the SEC? I think, can say about our two quarterbacks are good. Joey Aguilar is good. Joey Aguilar is a good SEC quarterback. I think now you learn Gunner Stockton is a good SEC quarterback. If you're a Georgia Tennessee fan, you feel really good about your quarterback going the rest of the way. But who else actually feels good right now? Who is good?
Yeah, I actually went back and revisited my my QB tiers before the year started, because I had the tier 1 was experienced good QBs, and that's Nussmeyers, Lenore Sellers, and John Mateer. I think Sellers just got hurt against Vanderbilt. Yeah. Maybe you still feel good about him, but that was, I don't know. It's been talked about with Lagway and some other guys about injuries, but I don't feel like many people have talked about, like, what if Sellers, can Sellers last a year playing the style he does, and maybe he can't. But that one's been whatever. Mateer has looked like the best quarterback in the SEC to this point. Nussmeier, not great against two good defenses, but they haven't done much. Don't ask Brian Kelly about it though, because he's not. They won the game, all right. But then I had the next year's unproven potential stars: DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, and Austin Simmons in that group. I don't know if any of those guys should be starting right now. Like, we might need to have a conversation about DJ Lagway throwing 5 interceptions, especially that 5th one. Like, you lose a game 20-10 where your quarterback throws 5 picks. Like, there's a lot of guys in that locker room.
Well, here's the craziest part about the Lagway thing to me. They're dead last in yards per attempt in the SEC. Kentucky is 6.6. Kentucky. Florida is 16th. 6.4 yards per attempt. 7 TDs, 6 picks. It's awful. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Lagway's been awful.
Yeah, it's baffling, honestly. Like, I was, and this is said as someone who was saying this was Nico 2.0. Like, we were doing.
I was a Lagway guy coming in the year. Lagway is not good. Jackson Arnold's not good. Can we stop this, by the way? Jackson Arnold's not a good quarterback. It's over.
See, Auburn. I'm not ready to go there yet.
There's no passing ability there at all. Like, this is not happening.
It'll be interesting to see kind of how they design an offense around what he can do, but yeah, I think that's fair. Arch Manning, I don't know what he does not.
I mean,
look
he hasn't
like
been good
player. He does not look like a good player through 3 weeks. I thought he was gonna just blow up these cupcakes for a few weeks after the Ohio State game. The hype was gonna be back. He's not even doing that. So it's kind of wild. I don't know what Texas's floor is if Arch Manning is the 10th best quarterback in the SEC or something, or worse. I don't know if he's been 10th, if we're just going by what he's done through the first 3 weeks. But my next tier, I had inexperienced, limited upside quarterbacks. This might have been where you wanted to buy your stock, sir. 7, 8, 9. Diego Pavia, Taylon Green, and Marcel Reed were in this tier. And these guys have been real solid through the first 3 weeks.
I wouldn't even say real solid, real good. They're good. Diego Pavia has been really good. And Taylon Green, really good.
Yeah, Arkansas gave Ole Miss a game. Like, Ole Miss might have a quarterback controversy on their hands. What was the guy's name that was playing last night? I
forgot his name too.
I blanked on it. Chambliss.
Yes.
Like, he looked
Trinidad
better. Trinidad Chambliss. He looked better than Austin Simmons has so far this season. So maybe Ole Miss found a new quarterback. 62 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground also. 350 yards through the air. But Taylon Green looked really good. Threw for 300 yards, ran for over 100. Like, Taylon Green is maybe the most dynamic quarterback in the SEC, and they're going to beat some teams this year. And I think Sam Pittman, if they can beat some teams, Sam Pittman's job might be safe because Arkansas's look pretty solid. Notre Dame, if they beat Notre Dame in a couple weeks, I think that completely kind of changes.
I mean, he also just might retire.
Why do you think that? Is he that old?
I don't know. It's just the juice for it. Like if you still 75, I don't know. I think there was retirement rumors last year, right?
I don't know. I maybe he said he's probably may want to retire.
First thing I looked up is there retirement. Football Scoop had a story on it in May 22nd. He's 63. Okay. And he had some others. Yeah. Like it just would not surprise me if he was like, yeah, I'm good. Even if he had a great final year. I don't know. Sam Pittman's year to year.
No, I think maybe. And Petrino, one of the more experienced offensive coordinators.
And I mean, he's cooking, man. Petrino's cooking here.
So Arkansas has looked good to this point. Marcel Reed and A&M scoring 40 in South Bend and beating Notre Dame. Like, I think A&M is a legit playoff contender right now. And I think, I don't know what to make of Vanderbilt, but they're not Vanderbilt. They're legit. Like Vanderbilt's solid. My next tier is the brand new starters. You had Gunner Stockton, Ty Simpson, and Bo Pribula, I think is how I pronounce it. In that tier, Pribula's looked solid against nobodies to this point and against Kansas. It's a solid team. Gunner has looked, probably better. After that Tennessee game, I would say better than the 10th quarterback in the conference. And Ty Simpson, still don't know about Ty Simpson, but we'll probably learn a lot when he goes to Athens here in 2 weeks. But he could still be, in the top half of the quarterbacks in the SEC. And in that bottom tier, some experience not good is what I called this tier. And, we might have to reevaluate this tier because we got Joey Aguilar in this tier. Jackson Arnold, Blake Shapen, and Zach Calzada, the other two. Blake Shapen and Joey Aguilar look pretty solid through the first few weeks.
I was all in on Blake Shapen. You knew that. But Aguilar, I think Tennessee leads the SEC in passing yards a game right now. Yeah, they're number one.
And obviously we had the cupcake games mixed in there. But
what I'm saying is like that was not the case last year. I'm just saying Tennessee, the passing game is different and the juice at receiver is different. Tennessee's passing game is legitimately good.
Yeah, I think it definitely it looked damn good on Saturday. So
it's the best it's been since 22. No question.
Yeah. So would you put Jackson Arnold in that bottom tier right now?
Yeah, still? Jackson Arnold's in the bottom tier.
I think Jackson Arnold has looked pretty solid to this point.
No, so Jackson Arnold stinks. So do you know how much to put into context? Tennessee is passing for 358 yards a game right now. And Auburn is 173 yards passing a game. Kentucky, who's been an absolute train wreck offensively, 2 touchdown passes to this point, 170, 3 yards less a game. He's attempting 24 attempts a game. Like they are basically like, it's not real. Like this is not going to work in SEC play. You can't hide Jackson Arnold for an entire SEC schedule. Like Jackson Arnold, I just feel like they're hiding. And it's like, there's no, I just could not sell any more Jackson Arnold stock. Jackson Arnold, here's how I'll do this. Jackson Arnold, Zach Calzada, not good. I would say Diego Pavia, obviously good. I would say Arch. Everyone's still projecting Arch. I'm going to say below average to this point. Lenora Sellers, good, but dinged up. We don't know where that is right now, but I'll say good. Obviously good. Garrett Nussmeier, maybe my most controversial. Anyone who thinks Garrett Nussmeier like is winning a national title or he's the guy, like I feel bad for the NFL team that drafts Garrett Nussmeier like number 2 overall. Like that, Garrett Nussmeier is just not the guy. I don't know what more we need to see there. He's fine. What does he have? 3 touchdown passes this year, 2 picks. I don't know. I'm not a big Garrett Nussmeier guy. I never really have. DJ Lagway has not been good this year. Gunner Stockton, good. Blake Shapen, good. Bo Pribula, good. John Mateer, good. Marcel Reed.
It's still early on Pribula too, though. I mean,
I've seen at least. I mean, he's completing like 80% of his passes. Like I don't know.
Like Jackson Arnold could go out and ball out in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden we feel a lot different.
But Pribula's doing it through the air and running. Like he's doing both.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm more of a Pribula guy. Marcel Reed, he not a good completion percentage, but good big time player. I'm going to say he's good. Taylor Green, good. Austin Simmons, not good, but TBD on that quarterback situation. Ty Simpson, probably the biggest TBD for me still of everybody. I have no idea what Ty Simpson is yet. Like you said, we'll know against Georgia. I have no idea what Ty Simpson is at this point.
I don't know if he balls out on Georgia.
I'll say 2.
if
Joey
he falls
Aguilar's
on
good.
Georgia, we might start to question Georgia. If it's like, okay, Georgia's now gotten torched for the second straight game through the air. Maybe it's Aguilar, maybe it's Simpson, maybe it's
I mean, if Tennessee wins that game, Aguilar's in the Heisman conversation, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, possible. I mean, the 2 picks, weren't great. But yeah, I mean, he was making some plays. So the hype is definitely different. If Tennessee makes that field goal, the entire conversation's a little bit different. But here we are today. I think Tennessee at least is still a contender and getting respect nationally for their performance.
All right. Well, that's all I've got, Matt Green. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here tonight?
That's all I got, sir. Tune in Georgia Voice of College Football, Georgia Bulldogs Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Obviously, Georgia's got as well as Saturdays to do a post-game instant reaction show. Georgia does have a bye week this week, and then the Crimson Tide coming to town the following week. So it's a big time in Athens. So tune in.
There you go. Matt Green, always a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.